If you're not even happy with dropping 0.01, then you're never going to be happy in your swimming career. Like breaststrokers and other swimmers need different type of cardio. We've wrongly assumed that swimming is the only way to get better at swimming is to get crushed.
We're good?
I think you are good.
We're live?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, Thibaut Capitaine, or Thibaut Capitaine. Thibaut is the COO, CFO, CTO of Aquatic Sports Performance. Thibaut is the former ASU record holder in the 100 and 200 breaststroke. His PBs in short course are 53.1 and 155.0. In long course are 101.5, 212.5. In short course meters, 58.6, 204.9. He is the 2018 French national champion in the 200 breaststroke in short course meters. He was also part of the French 2018 short course meters world championship team, where you placed 17th in the 200 breaststroke. Ouch.
There's no semifinals at short course worlds. So even if I had been 16th, it wouldn't have been a big issue.
Okay. He's like trying to justify that it was okay.
I don't know if that makes it better, to be honest, but just,
okay.
So it's out there.
Okay. Masters World silver medalist in the 200 breaststroke and Masters World's bronze medalist in the 100 breaststroke. One-time European champs qualifier and a junior European silver medalist in the 4x1 medley.
Yes.
And we were also roommates for 5 years.
That's like the most impressive thing, to be honest.
So yeah, Thibaut and I, we met in college freshman year, and we've been friends ever since. And now we own a company together.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. Like the things that come out of your college swim team is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Did you think this would happen?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Not at all.
Not at all. Anyways, I want to go over your career, your story. Let people. I think Thibaut is the man behind ASP, all the operations, all the things that you don't get to see. Thibaut is behind all of it. There's actually a lot of things that I don't even know that I learned, like APIs and what was the other thing we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, mostly APIs in the truck, like
X factor, no, X tracing or whatever.
That's not with me though.
Oh, okay. Anyways, there's a lot of behind the scenes that happens that makes ASP work, and that's because of Thibaut. And I think it's kind of interesting because Thibaut's actually, we were talking about this the other day. Thibaut's actually is the best swimmer out of me, Sid, and you. You're the best swimmer of all of us.
Yes.
Right. And so I think it's interesting, like how often do you have a company where your chief operations officer is also the fastest swimmer in the company, right? So I think we should go over your swim career.
Yeah.
And also I want to talk about breaststroke a little bit, and there's a Q&A at the end for you.
Really? Oh, wow.
Oh, wait, we have an opening tradition on this podcast.
Oh, no.
From our previous guest, they left you a question not knowing who you're going to be. And do you have it, Sid?
On me right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Sorry about that. I completely forgot about this part.
Very bottom line. Thank you.
Okay. What is a weakness of yours that got exposed in 2025, and how did you grow from it?
What is a weakness that was revealed in 2025? I don't know if it was a weakness so much as just like a realization that my health was very bad last year. Last year, Sid, Sean, and I traveled to Singapore for Masters World Championship. So we started the preparation in November 2024. At least it's when we decided to go, and I was like, okay, I need to get back in shape so that we go to Singapore, and it makes sense for us to go there, race well, and we're not half-assing this.
We spent a lot of money on that trip.
We spent a lot of money, and you don't want to spend over $10,000 to swim poorly or not swim at all. Which life happens, and so it was I knew I was like overweight and like I'd been neglecting my health. And so 2025, like that signing up for that competition was kind of like the inflection point where I was like, I need to do something about it. And I'm still working on it. If you watched the previous podcast, but essentially I worked from 2021 to 2025, I was doing a full-time job plus ASP, and I would do essentially 90 plus hours a week. So when you do that, you do everything you can to make it as easy on yourself. So you reduce your workout hours, you reduce your social activities to the minimum, and you just work and sleep. And that's what I had been doing essentially from 2021 to 2025. So last year, after Worlds, which we did okay on, it let me know that I needed to continue, and this is why I want to get back in better shape. That's why, for the past 3 weeks I've been training with the pros, which has been really awesome. And hopefully I can continue, that good routine and continue, working on my health.
Yeah, I want people to know that when Thibaut was working strategy consulting, he would work from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. basically.
Essentially, yeah.
And then work for ASP from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m.
And on the weekend.
And on the weekends too. And so a lot of what we have now could not be possible without that kind of dedication, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about your high school swimming career in France.
Yeah, so I'll go even way back earlier than that. Started swimming when I was 4, essentially because I was a danger to myself. I would just see a body of water and just jump in it. My mom was like, "Yeah, let's just teach that kid how to swim. At least I'll be worry free when he sees water." And so I learned to swim when I'm around 5, and I do this thing in the city I was raised in, Conflans in France. They had this thing called 24 hours of swimming. And so I assumed the pool was open for 25 hours and you could just come in, and there was a bunch of activities and all. And I was the youngest swimmer at that event, and I swam 500 meters at 5. And so I got a little cup, 24 hours of swimming. And I'm like, holy, that's so cool. I'm a champion, essentially. And so I told my mom I wanted to be a champion, and she was like, "Sure, whatever."
Okay, son.
Essentially, that's what she said, and she was like, "He just got a thing in swimming. Let's just put him in the team." And so started swimming, and essentially from 5 to 13ish was swimming. I started playing water polo for a few years, which is an amazing sport. I think it should be more well known from the public because it's really awesome.
Do you think the water polo developed your breaststroke at all?
I think a little bit, yes.
Had you not done breaststroke, do you think you would have been a freestyler?
No, because I'm 5'11", so I'm pretty short, and I have this small swimmer body type where I'm very dense and pretty short. So I think the 200 breaststroke is sort of the only event that I could do at a high level. But playing water polo did help me, I'm sure, making sure that my knees were good. When you do that much egg beater, you reinforce your legs, essentially it's a comparable motion that you do in breaststroke. So it only helped. And I think at that age, you should try to seek as many stimulus as you can. Swimming is great. Playing water polo, first of all, it's way more fun, especially at that age. You don't really want to perform at a high level. You mostly want to play. So playing water polo makes sense.
You played until you're 14, right?
16-ish, I think. So I wasn't
So you didn't specialize in swimming until 16?
No, I kind of had this choice. So I was like, I want to go to the Olympics. I'm 15-ish, and I'm a good swimmer. I'm a good water polo player. But at that point, so we're in 2008, the French water polo team hadn't qualified for the Olympics in the past so many years. And I'm like, I want to go to the Olympics. So what should I do? Should I swim where I could make it happen? Or should I play water polo where a group of people, 12 other people could make it happen? So it's kind of where you take control of your own destiny. So I picked swimming, and from 15, 16-ish is essentially when I was full swimming. But at that time, I had already been 13-year-old national champion. So I wasn't a bad swimmer per se. It's I think I was already a better swimmer than a water polo player, but it's just that moment where I was fully committed to swimming.
When you got recruited to ASU, what were your swim times?
There were two. So I was a 102.5 and a 214.5, something like that. And so I had been so there was this French swimmer called Frédéric Bousquet who swam for Auburn, who was very vocal about the fact that the USA, the going to the US to swim was a great way for you to get a degree while swimming. And in France, essentially when you're 18, you have a choice. Do you want to swim or do you want to study? It's very tough to do both. And so if you decide to study, you're going to study essentially from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then you may try to go to practice, swim for 3 hours essentially, and then you have to do your homework and all. Whereas in the US, you could swim from 9 to 12, first of all, you'd go swim in the morning, then 9 to 12, school, then what were we doing? Like 2 to 5-ish?
We did 6 to 8, 2 to 4.
Yeah, something like that. So your schedule is way more adapted to, high performance. And I actually studied in France at a university for a year before going to ASU. Not even a year, like 6 months before I realized I was like, there's no way I make that happen over the next 5 years. So
wait, you were in school before ASU?
Yes,
Oh,
I finished high school and I said 6 months, maybe that was like just 3 months. I barely went there because I knew from the get-go that it was not going to happen. I could not get my degree while also competing at the highest level. So started university in France. I was like, that's not happening. I got to do something about it. And I was like, I'm going to do like Fred Bousquet. I'm going to go to the US. Contacted a bunch of teams. I actually got in touch with Sonia Porter in Alabama when she was still there. And I think she knew that she was not going to stay at Bama. And she was like, listen, there's no room for you at Bama. I'm just saying. So, but I have a good friend at ASU. Maybe, you should shoot her an email. And I did. And that's how kind of like I got recruited.
Sonia was there our first year, right?
She was, but at the time when I reached out to those teams, she was still at Bama. And my guess is that
she knew she was going to go to
my
ASU.
guess is that because I remember the very first time I saw her on the pool deck, and I was like, "Wait, that's the Bama girl, right?" And so I think she knew where she was going next, and she was like, "Here's
Sonia,
a good swimmer."
I see you, Sonia.
It's my feel. I'm not saying she did. I'm not saying she violated any rules, but it's my personal feel, and so that's how I ended up at ASU.
For context, Sonia is the technical director for Singapore Aquatics, and we have a very good relationship
Excellent
with them.
coach, amazing coach.
Excellent coach. So she recruited you to ASU?
Essentially, yes. She kind of like redirected me to Dorsey Tanner Walker, who was the head coach at ASU at that time. And lucky for me, they had a scholarship for me, which coming from a very, very modest family was needed. There was no way for me to go to the US if I didn't have a significant scholarship.
For any international athletes, are there any advice that you can give to help get recruited by a US college?
I think nowadays you have a lot of resources to help you with that. If you don't know where to start, ask ChatGPT. It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
But back then, I think of Fred Bousquet, who did it like essentially early 2000s. Like, think of how many resources there were on the internet. There was some stuff, but you had to be guided by someone who knew how to do it. So you would pay essentially a consultant, a recruiting consultant that would tell you, you need to do your SAT, which no one ever does in France. We don't care about SATs. You need to do a TOEFL, which is the test of English as a foreign language. You never do that unless you need to for some certification. You need to do the NCAA clearinghouse. Like, provided you don't speak very good English like I did back then, like, try to go through that on your own. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. But nowadays, it's not like that anymore. You can find TikTok and Instagram reels that just tell you about the NC2A. What's a day like as a student athlete? You can ask ChatGPT to help you with the forms, like translate stuff. So yeah, it's get started early, ask ChatGPT, study for the test. Don't cheat on them. Don't use ChatGPT on the test. I don't know if that's even feasible.
I asked you a question. You're like, yeah, just ask ChatGPT. That was your answer.
But I love it because
hey, Thibaut, how should I improve my breaststroke kick? I don't know. Ask ChatGPT.
But it's true. Do get started early. Know your criteria. Like, for me, the scholarship was a non-negotiable. Like, there's no way I could make it work if I didn't have a significant scholarship. So some schools like Florida essentially was like, sure, you could come, but we have no money for you. And I would have loved to go to Florida, considering, the results they have. It's just, it wasn't feasible. So I didn't even tell my mom, like, oh, I'd like to go there. It was it could not happen.
Yeah.
So for me, ASU was one that offered the biggest scholarship. It was in the sun. A friend told me it was a nice party school. The girls were doing amazing at the time. And I was like, you know what? It's a great conference. I'll just go there. So know your criteria. What are your negotiables and non-negotiables? And try to find a school that do match those criteria. Because there are 1,000, well, maybe not 1,000, but 100 of schools in the US that sponsor swimming, whether it is D1, D2, D3, NAIA, NJIA, or whatever the name is. Some are like very into swimming, some are more academics, some have money, some don't. Like, you will find a school provided you know what you're looking for.
What was your swimming career at ASU like?
So for the first 3 years, we were swimming with, so the head coach was Coach Dorsey Tierney Walker. And so the first year I swam with her. The second year I swam with her as well, I think. And then third year with Greg Earhart.
Shout out Swim Cloud.
Shout outs from Cloud.
Open your APIs.
Yes, please do. It was okay. Freshman year, just getting accustomed to yards. I would swim a 53 and a 155, and I was like, is that good? I don't know. Went to the NCAA championships. Second year, got injured. Third year, improved my freshman year time, but missed NCAA by 0.1 or something like that, which was a bummer.
That's when you went 55-0, 155-0.
Yes, yeah. And I missed it by like 0.1, I think, something like that. And that's basically when everything changed after the third year, is when Coach Cheney Walker was removed from her position and Bob Bowman arrived. And I think it was amazing, first of all, to witness that as a swimmer and also be part of that training group. And that's also when I improved a lot. So my fourth year, my first senior year, because I actually redshirted that year, I had the amazing opportunity to train with the pros, with Michael, Chase, Allison, all these guys, and actually drop time from my previous PBs that were almost long course PBs, which were almost like 3 years old at that time.
Yeah, I remember you didn't go any best times.
No, I did not for the first 3 years, yes. And then Bob comes in and like we talk, and I'm like, should we do this? Should we do that? And he didn't say it like that, but essentially it was just like, shut up and just swim. You'll see, you'll do amazing. And I did. And so sometimes you just got to do what you're told.
What do you think the difference was in training?
I think I'm 100% convinced that what we were doing for the first 3 years was too hard. I think we've wrongly assumed that swimming is the only way to get better at swimming is to get crushed. And I've been doing it ever since I was maybe 15-ish, all the way to Bob, essentially. Just, if you want to get better, I'll throw like a 41's breaststroke on 130 all out, and just, you got to do it. And if you want for your body to adapt to the workload you're doing, you need recovery. And for the first 3 years, I feel like we never recovered. And even when we did, it was still too hard. Mm-hmm. And then Bob comes in. First of all, I was like, should we swim more? He was like, no, you probably should swim less, actually. And I remember pretty early on when one day we were having a poor practice and Bob was just like, let's stop it. You guys are swimming like ass. And just, let's recover and come back tomorrow and do better. And that's kind of like when I was like, oh, we need to recover so that we can swim better and adapt and adjust our body to what we're doing. Otherwise, if you don't have that recovery phase, you're not going to absorb the work you're doing.
Yeah, even within Bob's week, the way he sets up the week, like Monday's threshold, Tuesday's active rest, Wednesday's speed, Thursday's active rest again, I think, Friday's kick, Saturday's speed.
Yes.
So even within the week, there's kind of like this hard stimulus, adaptation thing.
Yeah. And oftentimes people ask me, they're like, oh, how hard was it to train with Bob? And I'm like, it's actually not the hardest. Well, it is hard. It is challenging, but it's not the hardest workouts I've ever done. There were some that were really hard.
What was the hardest one?
There was this set. It was something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8.
7, 8.
Yeah, the pros,
7, 6, 5, 4,
like
3,
Michael
2,
and Chase did the 700. I didn't. And then you will come back 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then the 100, 3, 5, and 800 was free, and the rest was IM, something like that. And on the way back, you would go faster. That one, long course, was really, really hard. So you would have insanely hard sets, but overall, the week was a lot more manageable, and it felt easier. So when people asked me like, "Oh, how hard was it?" I was like, "It was easier than what you would think." And they're like, "What? That seems wrong. Like, because if you want to get better, you need to get crushed." No, you do not. Trust me, you do not. The recovery is heavily underestimated in most sports.
Yeah. And just like the way we train, I think people, when initially they come, they're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Less than 800 yards?
And I think, on your podcast with Cam, you really put it nicely, is like, how often are you used to swim at your race speed? Essentially, you do your whole season getting crushed swimming at thresholds in a stroke that does not resemble what you're going to be competing in. And then you get to your taper, all of a sudden you get a new stimulus. Oh, we're going to do 2 broken 100 suited, and you're just like,
It feels so foreign. I remember doing like a broken 200 for Pac-12 taper, the initial 3 years, and I would feel so weird.
Yeah,
because I had too much energy now, where the stroke mechanics are completely off.
It's a stroke you're not used to, because you've been practicing the wrong stroke for the past 3 months, essentially.
Yeah, you learn how to optimize with less energy because you were tired.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when
stroke
you taper,
degrades, like you're not in the same rhythm. I remember when I would taper, like my tempo was completely off. Like I would go from like a pretty slow tempo to an up tempo, and like it wasn't the same stroke. Every time I would taper, I would have this new stroke, and then essentially you have 3 weeks to adapt. It's not enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not enough at all. I kind of in my like post swimming career, because you know the way I train, it's very sporadic, very random, and I found like how divers taper, quote unquote, they actually increase their volume,
workload to the repetitions. Yes,
because in my training I swim like 200 to 400 yards. I kind of did the same thing where I reverse taper, where I actually increased my swimming frequency and I increased the swimming intensity, and I actually did pretty well. But the absolute number is very important there.
Yes.
I was doing 200 to 400, 200 to 500 yards. If that was 7,000 yards, then it would be a completely different story.
If you do $6,000, you have to drop to 1,000, 2,000 maybe. But if you swim, if your training is 500 meters, then you
probably need to swim a little bit
what can
more.
You taper out of?
Yeah. Oh, I have a swim meet this weekend. I should probably swim this week. That's kind of how it was.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting a call from
the landlord.
No, the bank.
Which bank?
The one you guys went to today.
Why are they calling you?
I don't know.
They should be calling me.
David,
they have his phone number.
David Garcia.
What?
Anyways. Is that an important call that we need to pick up?
I'll leave a message if it's important.
For context, Sid and Thibaut went to the bank today to take care of some stuff. So I was just worried that was important stuff.
Yeah, it's fine.
That we probably shouldn't talk about on the podcast. Okay. Talk to me a little bit more about the training with Bob. Why you redshirted. I mean, I know why, but...
Yes, why I redshirted. I wanted to make the 2016 French Olympic team. And so you have Pac-12s that are essentially the last week of February, and you have NCAA championships, which are mid-March, I think. French nationals were essentially very early April, I think. Yeah. So can you do 3 tapers in a row? I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just very challenging. So you kind of have to pick what you want to taper for. And then that was a year I was training extremely well, and essentially Bob gave me like this option. He was like, either we redshirt you, or we don't taper you for Pac-12s and NCAA. And I was like, I kind of have to taper if I want to qualify for NCAAs. I'm not that good. And we actually decided to redshirt, and I think it kind of worked in Bob's overall idea of what his team wanted. He wanted his team to look like the following year. Is like that way, it was his first year at ASU. It didn't really matter the results he would get because everybody knew it was a long-term project. So it was like, if Thibaut doesn't swim this year, it doesn't matter if he's fast next year. It'll set the team like on a better trajectory. It'll help with recruiting, all that stuff. So I did redshirt, and after returning, it was decided that I would train with the pros for that year, which turned out to be one of the best experiences of my life, I think.
Did you swim the 2015 fall season?
I did not.
With the college?
No, it was pretty early on.
So you're already with the pros early 2015?
So
or fall
if I remember correctly, the first few months of the fall season of 2015, I actually was swimming with the college teams because we asked compliance at ASU and they were kind of worried it would be like some sort of NCAA evaluation or whatever. And I didn't start training with the pros until, I want to say, late November, maybe December, maybe. I can't remember.
So you were training with us earlier?
Yes.
What was training with Chase and Michael and Allison? What was that like?
Chase was the most impressive person I've ever seen in training. Mm-hmm. I remember the very first workout I do with Bob. It's a Saturday because the previous day, essentially, compliance gave us the green light to train with the pro. And the workout is something along the lines of do your own warm-up, put a suit on, 200 for time from the blocks, 150 for time, 100 for time, 50 for time, something like that. And so I'm like, cool, okay.
I think I watched this practice.
And I think I see Chase putting his suit on. He's the first one to go, and he drops like a 158 long course to fly. And you're like, what? Because, I can swim fast in practice. Like my PB was a 214 at the time. I could probably drop like a 219, but it's just not the same level of things. Yeah. And it puts everything in perspective. Like, oh, actually, you're not that fast in practice when you think you are.
Yeah.
It really raised the level, the level of expectations. I shouldn't be swimming 219. I should be swimming. What did you
go in that practice?
I think I went 220, something like that. And if I remember correctly, I was a 103 in 100, and I'm pretty sure like the next week Chase pushed to 102 long course, one breast, something like that. And it's important to see that whatever your reality is, oh, I'm training fast, I'm swimming 219 from the blocks in practice. It's probably not that good. There's probably a kid, well, Chase wasn't a kid, but there's probably someone else who's
pushing a 216.
Yeah, exactly. And so you always, like when you see this, you understand what the reality, like what's possible. And then you're like, oh, I got to, go faster and faster. And that's how you improve.
What about Michael?
Michael was also super impressive, even though I still think that in 2016, he was less quote unquote impressive than Chase, for example. But Michael had this kind of like
practice.
In practice,
yeah.
Yes, because
we're talking about practice.
Yeah, practice. He had this aura where you kind of look at him and you're like, holy wow, like
yeah,
it's Michael. Like whatever he does, like you. Even if you don't know what he's doing, it still feels amazing because he looks so focused on it. He looks so comfortable in the water. It's just,
dude, the muscles in his leg when I was with him in the weight room.
Yeah.
It's like you can see every fiber of every muscle in his leg. It's so impressive.
I think in 2016 he was more lean than he was in 2012.
He was 2015, 2016.
Impressive.
It was crazy.
He was so impressive.
I remember Michael had me take a photo for him one time in the weight room, and as a college senior, Michael Phelps asked you to take a picture. You're like, holy shit. You're like holding the phone. You're like trying not to shake.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Like I remember asking for a picture to show the kids in my French club team. And you're like, I just took a photo with my training partner, Michael Phelps. Like, what?
It's wild.
And kids ask you the most random thing, like how easy, like,
He's actually really cool.
He's really cool.
Like once you're in the team, he treats you very well.
Yeah. I swam next to him a few times and he was just a cool guy. There's only this one time where he had fins that he was not supposed to wear, and like I remember him asking to switch so that he could get the MP fins and all that stuff. So ended up swimming with his fins that were like way too big for me for the rest of the practice. I think because TV was there on the pool deck and it was like, I need to put that on.
Yeah. And you're like, well, I can't tell him no.
I was like, yes, of course.
Yes,
sure.
I'll do that.
And I was swimming like crap, and I'm pretty sure Bob was like, what the hell are you doing? I was like,
So what happened in the 2016 French trials?
Yeah, so I actually swim very fast. I go 212 and a 101, 101.5 or 6, I can't remember. And essentially, the guy who wins the 100 breaststroke was a 101.4 or 3, something like that. And he ended up going in the relay, and I did not because I was actually fourth with a slower time. We were like 4 people in point 2. So
the third place guy went?
No, the first place guy went, but he was 101.3.
Oh, okay. And then you were fourth with
in
the
101.5. Yeah, it was a very tight
field.
At the moment of the race, we all assumed that no one was going to go because 101, when you think about it, is not that fast. So when I touched the wall, I was like, still got the 200. It's going to happen. Swam a 212, which was slower than the qualifying time of 211, so did not qualify. And then afterwards, we found out that the guy who won the 100 breaststroke ended up being part of the relay. And that's kind of like,
So you missed the Olympics by 0.35.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember, 0.2, 0.3.
Yeah, that's tough.
How
did you feel emotionally?
That's kind of... So when I touched the wall, I was like, 101, no one's going. So at that time, I'm like, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
I didn't make the cut.
You're like, all right, let's focus on the 200.
Exactly. Let's focus on the 200. Didn't make the cut as well. It's fine. And then I remember I flew back to the US. They published the list of people that are qualified, and I see that, and I'm like, holy, like 0.2. Think of your last race and think of what you slightly could have done better. Maybe, point your toes, touch, with your hand flat instead of like that. Like it could have happened. And so I was like, man, this just sucks.
Yeah.
But I think I was kind of like, okay, it didn't happen. Let's move on to the next one. Like, you cannot just stay on that defeat and just not move on. Otherwise, you're just losing, another 2 or 3 weeks of training.
You moved on pretty quick.
Yeah, I did. But also because when I touched the wall initially, I was like, I'm not qualified, and that's fine.
Right.
It was just like, for a moment, like, could have.
Were you super defeated after you went 212?
No, because at that time my PB was 214.
So you dropped 2 seconds.
I dropped 2 seconds. So it's kind of like one of those things where if you're not happy because you didn't make the cut, but you still drop 0.2 seconds, when are you ever going to be happy in swimming? Like, dropping times as you get older does not happen as often. Yeah. And if you're not even happy with dropping 0.01, then you're never going to be happy in your swimming career. I remember I went to, so it's called EOF, European Youth Olympic Festivals. And so it's a multi-sport competition that happens every other year in Europe. For swimmers, for male swimmers, it's 15, 16-year-old. For girls, it's 13, 14, I think. Anyway, I went with the French team, and I swam the relay, the 4x1 medley. And we get second behind the Polish guys, where at that time I swam at 104, I think. And the breaststroker swam like a 102. He crushed me. Essentially, our backstroker was faster, our flyer was faster, our freestyler was faster, but I wasn't. And they won. And we got second. We got, essentially, it's the highest competition you can do at that age in Europe. We got silver medal in Europe. And I'm just like, I'm so pissed. And the coach tells me, like, if you're pissed right now, you're going to have a sad career. You're never going to be happy unless you win, which doesn't happen as often as you think. Most swimmers are not champions. Most swimmers are not Olympic gold medalists. So, you got to change your mindset. So ever since that, and I think, that was like over 30 years ago, but I think that was one of the greatest advice I've been told is any improvement, any medal, you have to celebrate. Otherwise, it's just sad. And swimming is a very ungrateful sport. And yeah, it's going to be a sad career.
You're very good at that. We talked. That was kind of the theme of this trip to the US. So for context, every time something disappointing happens, I hang on to that disappointment a little bit longer. And you're very good at just being like, it's all right. It's life. Whatever.
It is life. And most things,
you don't stress very much.
No, but
you and Sid, like,
we let you stress.
Yeah, you guys let me stress, and you guys are very relaxed.
Like, whatever.
I envy you both.
Yeah, okay.
You're like, all right, cool, bro.
We should say that.
In the 200 breaststroke, did you finish second? What place were you?
At 2016 trials, yes. I want to say I was second, yeah.
Okay. And they take top two if you're both under the qualifying
Exactly. The cut was 2:11.6. I was 2:12.2, 5? Can't remember.
time. 2:12.5.
2:12.5. So that's also the thing. Like, it's a second. It's not a lot, and it's a lot at the same time. You didn't miss the cut by 0.01, and like where you could like you can hit yourself for a long time over 0.1. There is necessarily something in your race you could have done better.
Did
What?
the other dude make it?
No.
You guys both missed
Yeah,
it.
no one made it. So it's also like, I'm not the only one kind of like not doing it.
Yeah.
But 1 second, like it's not like, oh, I could have done this and I would have made it. I would have not made it regardless.
After 2016, you continued to train with Bob
Yes.
all the way up until 2019.
So I only did one more year with Bob, which actually was a year I was training so well. Like this probably was my best training year ever, and I got mono. And essentially it was the end of my season. I go to Pac-12s, I swim a 53, which I don't think I've ever been that tired. Like I swam that 100, I thought I was gonna die. Like it's one of the worst and toughest races I've ever done. We actually scrubbed the 200 because they, what was the purpose of doing it if you could barely finish 100? And so I kind of finished. I remember being on the pool deck on the bulkhead at Federal Way for the, how they do like the senior day celebration.
Yeah.
They play the anthem. They kind of turn off the lights in the pool. It's pretty cool. They call your name. They say your school, all that stuff. And I'm just there, and I know I'm not going to NC2A. Like I'm off by almost a second at that point. I'm sick. So it's just like you're kind of like, is this how my career is gonna end? And I was like, I feel like I have a little bit more to do. There's still something I could do better. So the year finishes. I actually swim with the Scottsdale Aquatic Club for a year, 2018. Swam okay, and then my student visa actually expires, and I have to go home. And I go back home to my club team in France. And I also think I have some of the best training ever, and that's when I ended up qualifying for World Championships.
That you went back to your old coach, your
Yes.
club coach.
Yes.
In 2019.
Yes.
And that's when I visited you in Paris, and we didn't hang out at all because you were training.
Because I was training. Sorry, Sean. I also lived pretty far from Paris at that time, but you are welcome to, and everybody can attest that. You're welcome to come back, and we'll have more fun.
So what were you doing in 2019? Do you think that helped you go 204? What if you had to decide or pinpoint that one thing? I did that one thing that helped me swim faster.
I think I actually increased my workload quite a lot, but while managing rest very well. My yardage, my meterage, I don't know how you say it, because I was swimming meters, short course meters. I would probably do 50K a week, which is a decent
With how many
amount.
practices?
Like 9, I think, at that time.
What is that?
It's like 5.5 average.
Let's see. With 9 practices?
Yeah, 5.6.
5.555.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a nerd.
But I was doing, they were pretty tough, but at the same time, I think my coach was very good at managing my recovery because I'm a very muscle-driven athlete. I think my cardio is insanely good. I have a resting heart rate of like 32. Like I can just hang out at 180 BPM, just chilling. Like I can do that forever. So the problem for me is just how do you make sure that you assimilate the workload while, resting your muscles, all that stuff. So it's always this balance between getting crushed while also recovering, but mostly thinking in terms of muscle fatigue. And I think that's something we did very well is like, having those period of rest that kind of match my body type. It was also a time where I was basically training on my own. I was in a group team, but
It was all kids.
it was mostly kids. And so Nico, my coach back home, was also putting a lot of focus on me. So it was very individualized. And so I think swimming short course, obviously, for short course nationals is also, you get a lot of reps on terms and all that stuff compared to the people that do train long course. So
When you say manage the rest, what does that mean?
just
Give me specifics.
being very aware of like when that would be too much. Like I usually kind of feel that my muscles cannot allow me to keep training in the pool. So that's usually kind of
What
like,
does that mean?
you feel that, you know how sometimes you feel like your cardio is limiting you in the pool, like you cannot breathe more, you cannot like go higher up in the BPM. That's kind of how I feel for my muscles. So when I would hit that threshold, it would be kind of like, okay, tomorrow needs to be easier. And so you kind of take the plan that was initially
So muscular fatigue,
yes,
but your cardio aspect is still good.
yeah,
Your
it's-
metabolic is
yeah,
still good.
I would rarely be in a bad position in terms of cardio. It was
Although
almost
you could argue
exclusively
that those things are interlinked.
probably.
But you're speaking from a experiential perspective.
Yes.
So, okay.
I'm kind of like how Sid was saying, he has
There's
like
a
a good
feel.
feel guy. I think when it comes to swimming, I'm more feel than science. And I
Yeah.
know you are more science than feel.
So I'm like, dude, muscles are metabolic, bro.
And I'm like, sure, whatever he said.
But okay, yeah, you're speaking more from an experiential standpoint. So muscles, fatigue.
Yeah, and when you're training on your own, essentially, and your coach can individualize it, even if you're, you've planned out your week, but because you're not in a group, you can really adjust. If you're in a group and like 1 out of 10 swimmers is fatigued, then you're probably not going to adjust it. You're probably going to follow the group trend. And if that one guy is crushed, too bad.
Sorry,
sorta.
bro.
Yeah. Whereas when you're all by yourself, well, yesterday, even if today we need to do a threshold set, he was crushed yesterday, we will probably still do it, but way later than initially anticipated. So that way you kind of manage that fatigue throughout the week and really match the energy the guy is giving you in the pool.
How much freestyle training were you doing?
A decent amount. I would do a lot of threshold sets in free and breaststroke. In free and IM, sorry. And I would do every kind of like pace set, VO2 max, sprints, breaststroke, yeah. And
All breaststroke.
breaststroke, yeah. And then I would do the technique. So my coach would do technique and speed together, and so that would be breaststroke, obviously.
The one thing I learned about breaststroke from you is that the relative effort that comes from breaststroke is usually a little bit lower than freestyle or butterfly or backstroke.
Yes.
Because it's a contract, relax
and
stroke.
We did this kick set on, what was it, last week? And
Last Friday.
it was essentially 25 kick all out, and the freestylers were getting crushed. Like you've necessarily experienced that as a swimmer. Is like when you do 25 kicking, your heart rate's going to shut up. Whereas if you do it in breaststroke,
Your heart rate will stay
maybe
lower.
your muscles will hurt differently, but your heart rate is going to be way lower. And I
Lower
think
than the freestylers, yeah.
I often think that that's why like breaststrokers and other swimmers need different type of cardio.
Yeah, I like the strategy that you gave in that vlog.
Yes.
Check out that vlog with Thibaut.
The 25 with fins and flutter. That way you can like
when you
shoot up your...
Go breaststroke with a flutter kick, so that way you can increase your heart rate for breaststroke more than you would otherwise be able to.
Otherwise you kind of... You never really hit... Because even in your race, even if you think your cardio is not going to hit as high as freestyle, you will still go like 200 BPM in that race. Mostly in the 200, maybe the 100 as well. So you still need to get up there. You need to find ways to work in those zone that you never really get to do in practice. So just to make sure that your body is used to it, so that when you do show up in a meet, you're
It's
used
not
to
foreign.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like that word foreign. I think is a very good one.
Why? Because you're a foreigner?
Am I?
Here you are.
Really?
What? Yeah, I put in my notes, there was 2 things I learned from Thibaut about
That's it?
breaststroke. The one is the relative effort is lower, and so you need to do things like breaststroke with a flutter kick or train other strokes to get your heart rate higher. The other thing is to warm up your knees before you start actually doing breaststroke.
Yes.
And I think one of your favorite ways to warm up your knees are to do like egg beater with a board.
I like to do that a lot, just to kind of like change, it. The when you start off, just jump in a pool, do a regular breaststroke kick.
It feels terrible.
It feels terrible.
Yeah.
Like the first one is you feel like your
You're like,
knees are gonna
"Ow."
break. So you might as well start with a little flutter just to make sure your legs are engaged, and then small egg beater, and then you can like increase the size of your egg beater into a breaststroke kick, and usually that's a good way to warm up.
What about for the 50 breaststroke? What do you feel? How do you feel about the 50 breaststroke kick?
I never really thought of it because I've always been more of a 200 guy.
But as a fan of the sport,
As a fan of the sport, it's just a very intense kick that I'm actually not that familiar with.
I think it's a way shorter kick. I think you don't bring your heels up as high to the butt. I think you kind of come
stay out there.
halfway and then you use it to undulate way more. It's not very propulsive. It's more like you use it to get your body position higher.
Yeah.
You know, talk to me about the 2018 short course meters French national championships.
In 2018, when I do qualify for World?
Qualify for Worlds, you win a best time. You're wearing a pink cap.
I was.
It's on YouTube, by the way. You can look it up.
Yeah. My club team's caps were pink, like bright pink. So, I had to rep the team. But essentially, I go there and I know the qualification times, but I feel, way out there. At that time, I'm a 207 and I'm going into the meet. I swim the 50, the 100, and the 200. And the 200 is actually on the first day, I want to say, or the first day I swim. So I in the morning, I kind of control and I go 210 and I'm like, oh, cool, And I think something that also helped me, and it's kind of bad to say, is that one of my biggest competitor did DQ'd. And so I think I was also kind of freed in the final of like, I know I'm going to win. Essentially, I was behind the block and I was like, I know I'm going to win. And so that also helped me do the race that I, without pressure, and actually execute as I needed. And even though the guy that DQ'd did not swim, there was actually someone else that almost beat me that I never expected. He didn't meet pressure, but he was actually, the more dangerous competitor. So in the afternoon, I just get behind the block, and in my mind, I've already won. And I'm just like, this is my race. Like, all of you guys, just stop swimming. That's essentially. And I had this feeling that I had never had before of like freedom. Swimming just like I was in control of my stroke.
You're in flow state.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah.
That if swimmers can find that zone, if we can make a pill to find that zone, it'd be crazy. You see that in California at high school meets, when the club swimmers go to high school meets, they swim incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Because usually high school swimmers are not that good. And if you're a club swimmer, you're the good swimmer.
Yes.
And so they get that feeling that you got of like, you guys stop swimming now because I'm the man, and they always swim bigger than they actually are. And it brings another level out. But if you can trick your brain to just figure out how you can bring that sensation out and swim like, you guys should stop swimming now, like have that attitude, then you just have to train your mind to get to that space. First, you have to experience it organically like you did. High school swimming is a great way to do it. Experience it and then understand what are the triggers, what kind of thought patterns do I have, and then try to recreate those thought patterns at a bigger competition. I know it's way easier said than done, but I think that's the key.
And like we're kind of skipping ahead, but actually after that meet, I started working with a mental prep, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Like,
really?
Yeah. First of all, he also kind of acted as a sports psych. And I think it's great. As athletes, there's so many things we don't tell our coaches, our families. And even at the time, I was mostly training on my own. So, when you have a bad set, who do you talk to? Essentially no one. So you kind of keep that to yourself. So having that guy, Theo, just be there and like do sessions with him, first of all, did wonder to my mental health. And we also did a bunch of exercises to kind of fall into that self-hypnosis state, which leads you to flow. And it was amazing. Like the things you can do to kind of trick your mind to go into a flow state, anything you want is amazing and is heavily underestimated.
What are some strategies?
So the things we would do is to self-induce like hypnosis. Essentially, you close your eyes and you do a sensory circle, I think they called it. So essentially right now, if you think about it, your right foot, you can feel the bottom of your feet on the ground. Mm-hmm. But unless I tell you to think about it, you would have ignored it. Your brain receives so many signals, and so your brain is selecting the ones that you need to focus on. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? But everything else, for example, this part of your sweatshirt that's touching your neck right now, you did not feel it until exactly. So you're gonna close your eyes. You're gonna think about it. Okay, I can feel 5 things, and I can hear 5 things, and then I can smell 5 things, something like this, and then you do 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, and then you eventually you're probably not even gonna get to 1 because you're gonna be so aware of everything around you, and then when you're in that state actually you're able to kind of like influence how you behave and what you think. And so I should have done it the other way, but essentially he would put me in a hypnosis state using similar methods as I just said, and then he would say stuff like, oh, you're in the pool, you're so good, you're swimming fast, all that stuff. And so when I would do it on my own, doing this sensory circle, whatever it's called, you kind of would flow back to what he told you in that hypnosis state.
So essentially someone needs to tell you that. You can't self tell?
That I don't know. The way we did it is that initially he would activate. He would activate. He would like send the signals that I wanted him to communicate with me. Oh, I want to be super strong behind the blocks. Oh, I want to be super aggressive. He was telling me about because he was also working with other athletes, especially in boxing and all. And essentially, those guys, he would send like very aggressive primal signals. Like essentially, you want to kill the guy in front of you. Like I'm gonna beat the shit out of him and all that stuff. Whereas for other athletes, such as swimmers, it was a lot more. Oh, you're strong. You're in control. You feel the water underneath. You're very light. You can see the pool, like the diving tank behind you. You're on the block, like pecs up, like you're very strong. And so the signals he would send to each athlete would be different.
Are you laying down, eyes closed?
So we would do it through Zoom. So I would be in my chair with my headphones in, and he would initiate the hypnosis. And so my eyes were closed, and so afterward he would tell me. But essentially, as you get more engaged in your hypnosis, you're gonna like start to kind of fall like that, and you're not even gonna feel it because you're so focused on all the things we discussed. The ring on your hand, your sweatshirt on you, your hat on your head, the earphones on your ears, that your body's just gonna focus on something else. And he would tell me that visually, he would know I would fall into that hypnosis state because I was kind of like that behind the camera.
I heard on a Andrew Huberman podcast that there are 2 types of people who are more likely to be hypnotized and people who are not likely to be hypnotized. And you can actually test it. I forget how he does it, but it has something to do with like when you close your eyes, I shouldn't say it because I'm going to butcher it, but it was something like when you close your eyes, if your eyes roll back into the back of your head, then you're more likely to be hypnotized. Don't mark my words on that.
Okay.
Probably listen to him, but maybe you fall into that camp of easily hypnotized.
Yeah.
Hypnotizable. So you were doing that?
It's just like...
So you were doing that before you went 204? Or
no,
after?
Actually, yeah.
But then you never swim faster.
Why are you like that?
I just see truth.
It is, yeah, you're right.
But it was good.
It was good.
But you felt confident behind the blocks. And
yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many things that you have to take into consideration that you can't be like, oh, the hypnosis didn't work. Like maybe it was your diet, maybe it was your training, maybe it was this, maybe it was that.
As also, swimming in a short course pool, we would drive like over an hour to go to a long course pool. I was training on my own. When you train on your own for a long time, it becomes harder to train. Like you kind of get to a point where you don't want to swim anymore. And I think after that qualification in 2018 to World Championships, I should have sought to swim with a group because I was getting to a point where swimming was my job, but at the same time, it was I would just be on my own for 4 hours a day, essentially. Even if my swim coach, I have an amazing connection and like we'll still have dinner together and all that stuff. Being on your own for 20, 25, 30 hours a week, it just gets to you. And I think that was a point where I started to like swimming less and less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you were 26, 27 years old?
28 maybe, point. Yeah.
Sometimes I think about like, it's pretty impressive how fast you accelerated your work career? Because like you basically like a lot of people, you know, they want to start working when they're 21 so they don't quote unquote fall behind, but you kind of pushed off your work career until you're 27.
Yeah, 27, 28 maybe.
And then your career just kind of like...
It was also a choice. So like, I think of all those pro swimmers that kind of put their career on hold. Essentially, you're going to get to the workforce when you're 30 and you
have nothing on your resume.
First of all, you have nothing on your resume. Maybe you've been out of school for 5-6 years. So recruiters are going to look at your resume and they're going to be like, do you even remember what you learned in school? So I made the choice to go back to school. We talked about this in the previous podcast, but I went to a very big business school in France. And it was on purpose that I decided to go towards investment banking and strategy consulting to kind of catch up on, you know, the fact that I hadn't been in a workforce for, you know, years. So investment banking, strategy consulting, it's gruesome work, very interesting at times, but just very demanding, but also it pays well. So I was like, oh, I'm going to make up for it by, you know, working like crazy for a few years, and then I'll have catch up, and then I'll do like a chiller job.
And then you went to strategy consulting, which was not as chill.
Yeah, well, I did investment banking very briefly because I very quickly realized it wasn't for me. I hated it, like absolutely hated it.
You hated all your jobs.
I did hate. So investment banking, hated it. Worst job ever. Strategy consulting.
Worse than the insurance job?
Oh my God.
Rank them.
Worst one, investment banking, very bottom. Do not do that. Insurance job was just, I didn't fit with the people that were there, mostly my manager. So
that's number two?
That's number two. And then strategy consulting was a very weird one. It was insanely interesting. The salary was good. It's just that the work hours were crazy. And if you end up in a mission that's not exactly what you expect, or with people that you appreciate a bit less, it can be a tough mission. But the good and bad thing is that a strategy consulting mission can be 3 weeks, can be 3 months, but not much longer than that. So worst case scenario, you're with people you hate for 3 weeks, and then you kind of hope the next project is better. And what we've seen is that what I've seen is that usually when you do one mission that's bad, the second one's bad, the third one is bad. It's kind of like when people start leaving, because you need to alternate bad projects and good projects.
And you also work for a electric company.
I did in the US. So
80, what was it called?
It was called Sure Power Consulting, and we work for APS, which is one of the electricity provider in Arizona.
Is that number 4?
That one I don't really
remember.
I do remember. It's just I was at a point where I didn't really care. I just did a job so that I could have money so I could swim.
Yeah.
It wasn't good or bad. It was just eh.
And then I'm assuming ASP is number 1.
Oh, sorry, my bad. So it's... I'm kidding.
You asshole.
No, ASP is... It's at a point where it doesn't feel like a job. And I think that's the job you want.
Really? It doesn't feel like a job?
No. And that's also
cool.
why, even though I quit my day job, I'm working less, I'll be honest, than I was before. But I'm also still not counting my hours, because I don't care if on Sunday morning I'm going to wake up and spend 2 hours on some random stuff, because I want to do it. It's fun. It's my company. And as we said in a previous podcast, I really think we're advancing the state of swimming for the better. And so when you're driven like that, yes, it's work, but it doesn't feel like work.
Can we talk about some of the stuff that you do for ASP? Because
Sure.
I think people should know what you're doing. Because like earlier in the car, you were talking to me about the APIs and the, what is it, XPath?
XPath, yes.
XPath.
You said X Factor earlier. It's XPath.
XPath.
Yes.
So XPath is this thing that you can set AI to use your cursor to click on things for you.
So when you're on a web page, essentially XPath is just the way to get to something, to an information. Maybe your button has an XPath, and so it's just the way it describes the HTML structure of the page. The XPath of the button is here, and it leads you to that.
I don't know what you just said.
Also, I want to say I'm not super technical. I do technical stuff for ASP because we have a need. but I'm not an engineer by any means. So everything I kind of do that is technical, I learn on my own. I don't know if I do it like the best way, and I'm sure there's developers that will watch this video and be like, this kid has no idea what he's doing. Maybe
It works for
but
us.
it works.
What else do you do?
I do bookkeeping, accounting. I manage our finance. I do reporting. I do software maintenance, updates, implementation. I do customer service, and I do everything that Sean doesn't want to do, which is a lot, by the way.
It's a lot.
No, initially it all started with Excel stuff, and you can do crazy stuff with Excel. I do think that now we're entering the AI age where Excel will become obsolete, because with AI you'll be able to do so many stuff that is way more specialized. You can do apps. Nowadays you can do apps pretty easily. Tomorrow you'll be able to just, and you have an app for exactly what you need.
Yeah, you don't need X lookup anymore.
It's still a great function though. You should know it.
I barely know it.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's why I have you.
Yeah, exactly. So I can do the stuff you don't want to do.
Talk about your back office.
The ASP back office?
I think to me that's like crazy impressive.
So essentially we managed the company for a few years using Google spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are easily accessible by anyone. Anyone can contribute to them. They're cheap, they're very flexible, and they can do a lot of stuff. And it worked for the longest time. We had our performance report that was based off a Google spreadsheet. It gets to a point where as your company grows, you have more people using your spreadsheets. For example, we had Coach Sophie who started using the performance report. And as you deal with people that aren't necessarily as aware technically of your product, they may start breaking things. So they may delete a column, or maybe they delete, a cell because they think, oh, that's not the correct time, I'll just delete it, and then they don't put it back, and then for the next athletes, it's broken.
I've done that.
Yeah. And everybody has on Excel, I've done that as well. But so you get to a point where like you need a better way to do things. So essentially, we started coding our own back office using Python, which is a coding language, to just have a more robust tool that would serve the company, where we could have everything from financials, from performance report, from what else do we have there? We have a bunch of stuff.
All our business KPIs, all our athlete training KPIs, all
coach scheduling system.
Coach schedule system. It kind of acts as our Slack in a way.
Yeah. So all of this you kind of build over time. You have a need, you kind of like see what it is. Oh, my coaches I need to know what my coach, which session they want to coach. For example, you want to coach Tuesday at 6 a.m. Okay. Well, I could ask you, and then I could ask you, and I make a list. It's just complicated. So
it's way too,
you have a need, and you just try to erase that need from your to-do. Essentially, you want you to simply click a few buttons and say, I'm okay.
That's basically how we built all the systems in ASP. It was initially me texting everyone, hey, can you coach this, can you coach that? And then I'm like, Thibaut, this is way too hard. Can you help me?
You have a need,
build something for me.
We get to the point, we're lucky enough that the company is doing well, and like we have more sessions, more athletes, more technicality. We have more products. We offer new type of sessions, all that stuff. So if you continue doing business the way you were doing it, essentially you're limited by your own time, brain, ability to take notes on a Post-it or something like that. So you need a better system, and from need comes new tools, and that's how we've been growing.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Earlier today, I was organizing all of our VALD data, which is our force plate, and it's very discombobulated. So I asked Thibaut, hey, can you make this easier to read? And you did it in like 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, maybe less.
If I you should enter the Excel World Championships, by the way.
No, these guys are nuts. By the way, if you want to have a good laugh, just watch the Excel World Championships. It's just a bunch of nerds that just like do crazy shortcuts. If you know Excel, you'll be impressed. If you don't know it, you'll have a good laugh.
Anyways, like if I were to do it, it would probably take me a week.
And that's why specialization matters. I could coach, our athletes in the gym. It would be a pretty bad session. So I let Sean do that. You could have done the graph I've made in the spreadsheet.
It would have taken me a long time.
Maybe you could have.
We
No.
Thibaut coaches. No, so earlier, I asked Thibaut this question. I was like, who's discrepant? Like my technological skill and Thibaut's technological skill, that discrepancy, is that greater, or is my coaching ability and Thibaut's coaching ability, is that discrepancy better? And we concluded that the discrepancy in technological skill is greater because Thibaut also swam and he has experience. Yeah. Let's go to the Q&A.
Oh,
I gotta go soon, so I gotta go pick up
the kids.
Yeah, I dropped.
You can leave him there a little longer. He'll be okay. Sorry, Rylan. When you watch this, when you're older,
So I've been.
Dad
going
really
to,
did not want to pick you up.
I've been going to daycare with Thibaut because he's living at my house, and all the kids at daycare come up to Thibaut and like they all ask him, "Why are you here? Like, who are you? Do you live with Rylan?" Like they all question him. I'm like, what the heck's wrong with this guy?
Where's the Q&A?
It's on my personal.
Oh.
How does it feel to be a silver medalist
At World Championship, at Masters World Championships? It's fun. Honestly, this was the second Masters meet I did after the one that allowed me to qualify for Masters Worlds. And it was a super fun. Well, it wasn't for Sean. It wasn't super fun for Sean. He almost died. But in terms of experience, first of all, swimming in the pool of the World Championships, amazing facility. Singapore was great. We met a bunch of people that just were, hey, oh, you work for, like, you do ASP. That's so cool. I follow you guys on social media.
That was very surprising to me.
It was so cool.
I guess to answer the Q&A from the last podcast where it was like, what part of success surprised you? I think that was very surprising to me. That we're in Singapore and people like knew us and they're like coming up to us.
Plus they're like master swimmers, so they may be a little bit less involved than, some of the kids are 18 and like swimming is everything they have. Like they just do it for passion and they still take time to follow, the new swim, all these guys and us. And we're like, what?
We're just some idiots.
Can I have a photo with you guys? I'm like, sure, but are you sure you want that? Like,
I'm just Thibaut.
Can we have a cap? Sure, but it's not worth much.
It's Alibaba.
Yes, it is.
So how does it feel to be a silver medalist?
It was very fun.
Very fun.
Very fun, yeah.
Yeah. What's his favorite sprint set? Is the question. It says, what's his fave sprint set?
Okay.
That's the question.
Okay.
What's your favorite sprint set?
I don't think I have a favorite sprint set. But everything that's kind of like, you're going to do like 425s of the blocks on 5 minutes, something like that. Because it also means that you're getting closer to your tapered meet. It's why...
Not unless you train with us.
That's true. Yeah, man, I got to get used to that. But unless you swim with ASP... it means you're getting closer to your meet, and that's why we swim. Like, it's a good thing we have fun in practice, but the most fun you have in swimming is at swim meets when you race. So that's a good set that also lets you know that you're getting closer to your tapered meet.
Do you have a favorite set in general?
I don't know if I do, because I also think that in swimming you should vary your set so that you kind of get different stimulus. You also don't get bored, because we're in a sport where it's very easy to get bored. If you do the same sets every week, the same programmation every week, you know what to expect when you get to the pool. It can be long, like it can be a long workout. So I think you should kind of mix it up and vary things. But there are some sets that kind of stick with me. The ones we did with Bob, that was like 1650s every fourth fast, every 12 50s every third fast. Like, you're not going to do that close to your tapered meet, because that one will take a lot out of you. And just to finish, so it's 1650s every fourth fast, 1250s every third fast. You should say
the intervals too. The intervals are the important part.
850s every second fast. I don't remember the intervals, dude.
You do, right, Sid?
It's a minute, 55, 50, 45, right?
That sounds right. Long course.
Sorry, it's the opposite. It starts 45, right?
And the rest gets more.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's 1650s every fourth one fast on 45. 1250s every third one fast on 50, 850s every other fast on 55.
Yeah.
And then basically you do 550s.
5 in a row at the end. That one was
450s.
rough.
Yeah, that's the Grant Hackett set.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I did that set twice with Bob, and I was going like 28s freestyle. And what? Long course. Yeah, and I was going 28s freestyle, and Bob was getting my times. He was like, 28, good, nice job, Sean. 28, good, nice job, Sean. And then I guess the team was not doing very well. And so he like stops the practice. He like gets everyone together. 28 on 50 freestyle is not acceptable. I was like, what?
Yeah. That's also usually the set when like you go 28 and some dude's going to go 25 on all of 5 and you're like, oh man, like,
Yeah.
come on.
Like I think Pat was holding like 26s or something crazy like that.
Oh.
The next one's not a question. It's an insult from Nico.
All right. So I've been training with Nico for the past 2-3 weeks, and I'm probably gonna go to Serbian Open March 6th. So Nico, just so you know, be ready.
What's the insult?
Yeah, that's true.
He says, what's the ideal body fat percentage to go 3.7 in a 10 meter?
I don't know, but right now my body fat is way higher than his, and I'm still faster. So you tell me.
Be careful, Nico, once he loses weight.
You
Who do you think is going to win at Serbian Open? 50 breaststroke. You think you could beat Nico?
I'm not going there. I'm not like traveling to Serbia to lose.
So
I'm not going to be his coach.
I may give him bad advice just before the 50 so that I can win.
man, I wish we could vlog the Serbian Open.
That's. I mean, I have a GoPro.
Actually, you think so for context, the Westmont Pro Series, which we are going to, is the same weekend of Serbian Open, so it actually works out from a programming perspective. Maybe in for this Westmont Pro vlog, maybe we just get just the race footage from the 50 breaststroke for Thibaut and Nico, and then we throw it in the vlog.
We'll figure it out.
Can you do that? Or Emily's going with you, yeah?
She should be.
Emily's Thibaut's girlfriend. Maybe we give her a semi nice camera.
Phone works.
Phone works. Film horizontally.
Sure. You know how good I am with social media.
Thibaut has a New Year's resolution that he's going to start posting more, and it's January 27th, and he still hasn't posted it.
I posted a few stories.
Yeah, but stories are not the same. That was all the questions that people left.
Oh, not many questions from me. I see, guys.
Well, because it's not as personal, we should have done it on the main.
Yeah. Can you leave us a question for our next guest?
Well, I did not come prepared. Do you have any regrets picking swimming over another sports? And if so, why?
Wait, we might not have a swimmer.
Oh,
I don't.
Well, just in case.
Yeah, I don't know the next. Well,
okay. Do you have any regrets picking the sport you're specialized in? And
Over another sport?
Over another sport. That's a question I wonder. Like, would it have been better if I had not been a swimmer? Because just for like the little anecdote, I was visiting an apartment with Emily, my girlfriend, and I was wearing a FFN, which is the French Federation shirt, and the guy's like, "Oh, you're a swimmer," and I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, funny. I thought you were a wrestler," and I'm like, "Bro, like." I'm trying to buy your apartment and you drop that on me. And so at times I do wonder if it would have been better if I was, doing another sport.
Wait, so should the question be, would you think you would have been better at a different sport rather than would you?
Yeah, I guess so,
Which way would you like us to frame it for our next
That way.
guest? Do you think you would have been better at another sport?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think?
Because I feel like if you say regret, everyone's gonna say, "No, I don't regret it." It's just like,
Okay.
Like for your body type.
Yeah.
See?
Well, not necessarily for your body type, just overall. Could be your body type, could be, the enjoyment of the sport. Some people may regret being swimmers when they could have been, soccer players and probably make a lot more money.
Do you have regrets, or do you think you would have been better?
I don't have regrets because I really love the sport of swimming, but I do wonder. I'm like,
What do you think you would have been good at?
Wrestling? Probably not.
No, you don't have the
I don't have
aggressive tendencies.
I guess it's a good thing, right?
No, because you have to think of it not just from a physical standpoint. You also have to think about it from a psychological standpoint. For example, Mikey Musumeci, he's a BJJ athlete, jiu-jitsu athlete. If you look at him from the outside, this kid is a freaking nerd. Like, you wouldn't think he's like a killer on the mats, but he's really good because his brain is, because jiu-jitsu is like a chess game, and he's like a chess nerd. And like, he wears glasses and like he looks super nerdy, but he's really good at jiu-jitsu because of the brain. So you have to, when you consider, I've been thinking about this a lot, because as a parent, you want to pick the sport that they are genetically most gifted to be good at, with their, muscle twitch fiber types, their tendencies, their personality, their anthropometrics. You have to take all these things into consideration and then have them pick a sport.
It resonates so much because I've had this conversation with a lot of parents of like what it takes to become a champion. And when you think about it, you need, first of all, to be born. You need to find the right sport for you that matches your DNA and your genetics. You need to train for it. You need to find a good coach for it, have the good training conditions, financials to support it, for travel and all. So you really need, I don't know if you need to find a sport for you, but if you want to become a champion in that sport, all of that needs to happen. And the fact that most of us kind of found swimming randomly, for me, it's because, my mom was just like, yeah, sure, you'll go swim. And I feel like it's the case for a lot of people. It's pretty crazy that you end up in a sport and that almost accidentally your body type, your DNA, your personal situation, financial situation kind of allowed you to, become a champion despite all that. And when you think about it, for all of that to happen, for you to become a champion, all of them has to line up, and it's pretty crazy.
What do you think you would have been good at?
I really don't know.
You can argue swimming is what he was good at.
Yeah.
It probably, when you get to that level, you probably found a sport that you were meant for.
Probably, yeah.
But
you're probably that case.
Yeah. I also think, I'm and it's kind of diss to myself, but I'm not super athletic outside of the water.
You're not.
You didn't have to confirm that. You could have, just be cool.
Have you seen yourself throw a ball?
What does that mean?
Thibaut throws a ball like I throw a ball with my left hand.
Anyway, I think I found my sport.
I think you could have been good at like triathlon, endurance events. I think that might have been where there's less coordination.
I also have like amazing heart rate, abilities, as I was saying. Like
that's what I said, like triathlon, marathon running.
Well, it's kind of
endurance sports.
Tour de France.
Yeah,
Tour de France.
Just need a little bit of a.
Okay. Well, your Instagram is at TIBOCAPITAINE.
Yes.
At Thibaut Capitaine.
Be ready. I'll be posting every day. Not.
Anything you want to leave for the listeners?
Just have fun swimming. We're lucky to be doing an amazing sport. We have an amazing community, and I think it's just we're lucky to be doing that sport. I think.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Thibaut.
Thanks for having me on. Bye.